Hello everyone and welcome to Game 3 in the series, Hero versus Puma. This time we are on Tall Dareem Altar, Hero spawning as the blue Protoss player on the bottom left hand side of the map at the 7 o'clock position. Meanwhile, Puma as the red Terran on the top right hand side of the map. So Terran versus Protoss once more. And I am very interested to see what is going to go down in this particular matchup. Now, Hero is currently behind 2-0 in this series, but once again, I do not know the other results, and I do not know who is ultimately going to win the series or how many games are in this series, as these two players could have faced each other in an earlier matchup, and those rounds actually count, and if they do count, this then would end up being a best of 7 with those 2 to 3 previous games actually mattering. Now, we'll see how this is all going to work out as Puma just now mining away back at home. It looks like he will be setting up a barracks, perhaps down over here in just a moment. No, going for a refinery first. So Puma, refinery first here on Tall Dareem Altar. A rather interesting strategy. Most likely it would be used for very, very high level tech play. Meanwhile, we are going into a gateway by Hero. Now, it's going to be a matter of time before we can finally get a barracks up and running. So 13 barracks now coming in. SCVs back to production as Puma now going to be a little bit behind in terms of his production units. His barracks just getting started now. Meanwhile, the gateway more than 2/3 of the way completed, and then that means that cybernetics core will be completed also in just a moment as well. Now, the upgrade to orbital command is going to be a little bit more difficult as Puma needs to balance between, does he want to build his factory faster, or does he want to get an orbital command first? He should have about 100 gas right as the barracks does finish. If he tries to train up a marine, upgrade to orbital command, and build a factory, he may be a little bit short with everything, as it looks as though an SCV is going to be on its way out, a factory is being added, the orbital command being added, and now finally the marine being trained. As the probe is able to wander around on the inside, it is going to spot the factory. And does Hero know the timings on the build to know that that factory is significantly faster? Gas has already harvested a lot. If he clicks on the gas, he knows how much gas his opponent has harvested, and about 40 to 50 gas faster than himself, which would indicate a gas first build. Marine now trying to chase away this one probe. The probe already down to 16 hit points, trying to back around. Looks like it's going to take a little bit more damage. One more shot. There it goes, as we are now going into a reactor. So interestingly enough, going into a reactor instead of going into Banshees, we may see a liftoff here, double train Hellions, and then try to build a starport, as we are also going into a refinery here. No, it looks like it is just going to be straight up Marines and siege tanks off of one base, and this is going to be a little bit more difficult as it will be full cross spawn, as the Stalker now going to be able to easily chase down that SCV and destroy it. SCV already down to 15 hit points. One more shot should do it. The probe is over nearby, and the Stalker getting in that final hit. Here's the base. This gateway sees 2 gateways, and the second Stalker now joining in on that fight. Zealot now making his way, just running straight past the group here, as we are now seeing the Zealot getting some damage onto the refinery. Oh, a supply depot being raised just in time to cause that Zealot to be forced to run around the map even further. We are going to be adding 2 additional Stalkers to this group as the Zealot gets taken down. Siege tank not yet added. We are going to see a barracks being built here. So what is this? He's going to go into bio. This is perhaps one of the strangest builds, as we see a lot of gas for Puma. I do not agree with this at all. Puma is sitting on a fair amount of gas, and he's not really spending it. He doesn't have any real way to spend it, as the supply depot now taking a bit of damage. And now we're going to see Marines try to push back here. One Marine may get taken down, as the Stalker is just going to dance a little bit further. Oh, the Stalker taking a lot of damage there. SCV is repairing. The SCV should be able to repair it faster than one Stalker is able to take it down, as we are now going into a siege tank here. And now the Marines are doing a bit of a counterattack, counter push. Now going to jump back in. 3 Marines, 1 down, as the SCV is not on auto repair. Marines jumping back in. Once again, the siege tank needed to be added much earlier. We are now going into I believe, combat shield. SCV is not repairing, so Puma going to be supply blocked. This is really bad news. And yes, it looks like it will end up getting taken down as Puma asleep at the wheel and now supply blocked. And that is going to be very, very difficult as Puma now rolling out with that siege tank should be able to defend as the siege tank does have superior range. Stalkers now warping in, what, 2/3 or more than halfway across the field, moving that home field advantage. Supply depots being added, more Marines being trained, going into combat shield, and looks like mass Marines. But still, supply block needs to get in more supply depots and continue to build. Otherwise, he's not going to really be able to train up his army significantly. 6 Stalkers against a large group of Marines and siege tanks. Both sides battling it out. The siege tank does get focused down and destroyed. And Hero able to keep alive a 2 hit point Stalker. And things are looking very good for Hero, the Protoss player, as Hero may be going into Immortals once again. We've seen him effectively use Immortals in the past. He can perhaps do it once more as the combat shield about to be finished researching. We are finally going into Siege Tech. The Marines now going to push their way in, trying to chase, but blink on the Stalkers. And the Hero able to just peel away with those Stalkers, accidentally losing 3 there, 2 to 3 there, and it looks like the counterattack should perhaps be delayed for a little while, as we did see a lot of Stalkers go down. The Marines now once again trying to chase. Marines continuing this push here. More blink action coming in. Siege tanks going to engage once more as the Marines finishing off these units. Hero now running all the way home. Puma sitting on 26 harvesters compared to 32. Both sides without a second base, but I may be speaking prematurely as Hero may be trying to expand here in just a moment. 10 Stalkers in the field. An Observer now being added as well. Still doesn't look like a command center is being added. Puma does have 1 siege tank back inside this base, now salvaging that front door bunker and perhaps trying to do a bit of a push out. We are seeing a research of stim now, and that is going to be important as we also see the Nexus being built at the natural expansion. The Stalkers, however, going to be able to blink up this cliff over here with the help of the Observer, and that is going to be huge as Hero now completely catching this completely off guard. The siege tank trying to run away. One more round of attack. The Marines now coming back into engage. Stalkers should be able to blink back down. Down it goes, and all the Marines and siege tanks pretty much unable to keep track and follow these units still. More Stalkers being added. Marines and siege tanks being forced to fight a war on 2 fronts because of this semi-backdoor entrance with the help of some Observers. We are going to have 3 Stalkers now make their way in as the Observer does spot this command center as it is being built. Puma still behind on harvesters. Oh, as a quick blink up onto the high ground to focus down the SCV building. The Stalkers look like they will be able to blink away just in time. And there you go. Hero being very, very annoying with those Stalkers, able to force Puma on 1 base, and that is going to continue to hurt him, especially as he is currently supply blocked, unable to really train any additional units off of the majority of his buildings. Puma definitely needs to get some medevacs or perhaps even a Raven now to deal with that Banshee that's been, not the Banshee, the Observer that's been allowing these Stalkers to blink straight in. 1 siege tank overexposed as the Marines, I believe, just unable to support their tanks. There are a lot of Marines, a decent number of siege tanks, army compositions much higher for the Hero right now, as you can see that all the Stalkers once again blinked away. Now, just trying to utilize that superior range of 6 compared to a range of 5 and faster movement speed. The Marines could perhaps stim as we now see another all-in attempt by Puma. Puma now moving in with these SCVs. Hero, knowing what's going on, going to simply bypass all of those units and now push inside this main base. This is going to be interesting as Hero does not have that much. He needs to get a lot more units. Force fields will not be coming in anytime soon. The Stalkers now just wandering around, and perhaps this is going to be a pure flank, fighting a war on the front and on the back. Marines and SCVs once again re-engaging the Stalkers, getting in some easy kills on SCVs here, as now the Immortals need to push their way in. Siege tanks unable to really do much here as against those Immortals, but still destroying all of those Stalkers. Siege tanks able to blast up onto the high ground. 3 siege tanks. We are getting into 1 Colossus. A bunker is being added. More Marines are being trained. And Hero is going to be able to pick off any reinforcements very easily. And even the Raven. So the Raven gets taken down. Marines are going to get taken down. Meanwhile, back at the base of Puma. Puma now with Marines and siege tanks on the front door. Going to try to continue to push into here. And mass Marines, especially with Stim and Combat Shield, always very deadly. Puma now sieging up. Is it going to be in time? It looks like it is in time, as those Stalkers were unable to engage. Hero has a rather large army, but he doesn't want to waste it. He's going to wait for the perfect moment to engage. And it looks as though the Colossus, there's the force field splitting the Marines. Zealots are going to finish that all off. And many of those Marines have just been destroyed here, as the siege tanks now just going to start knocking on the front doors. Stalkers now engaging on the front. Colossi on the back. Immortals continuing this push. The hardened shields doing their job, as the Immortals are going to finish off the siege tanks. And now 1 Colossus against a whole bunch of Marines. Puma pushing way too far, and especially not expecting those Immortals being used actually for their hardened shield mechanic. And those siege tanks really couldn't destroy them. We can see 1 Colossus, Immortals, and Stalkers being added. More sentries are going to come in to reinforce. There are a lot of Marines up on that high ground. What is going to happen to these sentries? Sentries able to take down 1 SCV there as it retreats back home. And now with 1 Colossus with 18 kills, more and more units are still being built back at home, perhaps, as this Nexus is being reestablished. Production, they're at 35 versus 11 Harvesters. Stalkers are now engaging. Sentries need to perhaps get up a Guardian Shield, reduce the damage on those Marines from 6 down to 4. On the shields, there's the force fields. The Marines unable to get into combat there. The Colossus not even being focused down. Finally getting focused down now, but the Colossus is on the move, and there is the GG by Puma. So Puma losing game 3 in this series, as Hero able to try to even the score. We are now at 2-1.